I want you to hear me clearly today. You are capable of becoming completely unrecognizable in just 1 week. Not in some vague, wishful way. I mean, a transformation so deep that when you look in the mirror, you won't even recognize the person staring back at you, and it all begins with a single decision. The decision to break free from the person you've been yesterday. Stop letting your old habits, your old friends, your old mindset dictate your life. The moment you decide to step into the new version of yourself, the universe starts to rearrange in your favor. But here's the truth. Transformation is not about motivation. Motivation is temporary. It comes and goes like the wind. Discipline, on the other hand, is powerful, consistent, and unstoppable. 1 week of total, unrelenting discipline can move you farther than months of half-hearted effort. That means waking up earlier, saying no to distractions, doing the things that scare you, and doing them anyway. Discipline is the bridge between where you are now and the person you are destined to become. And while you're building this new version of yourself, you must guard your environment fiercely. People are powerful influencers. If you keep surrounding yourself with individuals who have small dreams, limited vision, and weak belief, you will never grow fast enough. Remove the noise, protect your energy, seek out those who inspire you, those who challenge you, those who make you uncomfortable, because growth always comes outside of comfort. Feed your mind like you feed your body. What you consume mentally shapes the person you are becoming. 1 week of focused, intentional learning, reading, listening, meditating, absorbing knowledge will outpace a lifetime of mindless scrolling. Stop filling your mind with excuses, fears, and distractions. Starve them. Feed it with truth, with purpose, with vision. Feed it with the person you want to be, not the person you've been. Action is the vehicle for transformation, but not all action is equal. Move with intention, not emotion. Don't just act when you feel like it. Act because you know it's necessary. Act because you are committed. Every step, every decision, every effort must have purpose. Emotion is fleeting. Intention is unstoppable. This week, live every moment like it's an opportunity to sculpt yourself into someone unrecognizable. And here's the secret that most people miss. Transformation begins in your mind. Before your body changes, before your circumstances shift, your mind must see it first. See yourself as the person you're becoming. Believe that you already are that person. If your mind believes it, your actions will follow, your words will follow, your energy will follow. You will begin to operate as the person you're creating, and that alone will start changing everything around you. 1 week, 7 days. That's all it takes to step into a version of yourself that others can barely recognize, but it won't be easy. Growth never is. You will feel fear, doubt, resistance, but those are signs that you are breaking old chains. Every uncomfortable moment is proof that you are transforming. So embrace it. Lean into it. Don't stop until the person staring back in the mirror is someone you admire, someone powerful, someone unstoppable. Your past has no power here unless you give it power. This is your moment. 1 week of relentless focus, unwavering discipline, intentional action, and belief in yourself can change everything. Become unrecognizable, not for anyone else, but for yourself. Step into that power, step into that greatness. And when you look in the mirror at the end of these 7 days, I promise you won't just see change, you'll see a whole new person. The only question left is this: are you ready to do what it takes? Are you ready to leave behind who you've been and fully embrace who you are meant to be? The clock is ticking. 1 week starts now. Become unrecognizable, become unstoppable, become the person you've been destined to be. Everything begins with a decision. If you want to become unrecognizable, the first step is to decide that the person you were yesterday is no longer the person you will be tomorrow. You cannot hold on to the old identity and expect the new one to emerge. The habits, the thoughts, the routines, and even the relationships that defined your past, they were comfortable, but they were also keeping you small. Comfort will never create greatness. Mediocrity will never create momentum. Deciding to break your old identity means looking in the mirror and being honest about who you've been, who you've allowed yourself to become, and who you refuse to be anymore. It's not about feeling guilty about your past. It's about recognizing that your past is finished. Every excuse, every limitation, every I can't or I'm not enough, they all end the moment you make the decision to rise above them. This decision is not wishful thinking. It's not hoping things will change. It's a commitment so strong that it transforms your thoughts, your actions, and even your energy. When you decide, you don't wait for motivation, you don't wait for permission, and you don't wait for the perfect time. You start immediately. You no longer ask, what if I fail? Instead, you declare, I will become who I am meant to be no matter what it takes. Breaking your old identity also means shedding anything that no longer serves your purpose. The habits that waste your time, the relationships that drain your energy, the thoughts that diminish your confidence, they all have to go. You are creating a new standard for yourself, a higher version of you, and nothing from the past can occupy that space. This decision will feel uncomfortable, even scary. Growth always does, but discomfort is a signal that you're stepping into something bigger than yourself. The old you will resist, and that's normal. That resistance is a test to see how badly you want it. The moment you decide to break the old identity, you take back control of your life, you reclaim your power, you step into the person you were always meant to become. Remember, transformation begins in the mind before it appears in the mirror. Once you decide to break your old identity, your actions will begin to follow. Your words will change, your routines will shift. And slowly but surely, the world will start to see someone unrecognizable. Not because you tried to impress anyone, but because you committed to impress yourself. This is the moment where your life pivots, where everything changes, simply because you made the decision to leave the old behind and step fully into the new. Discipline is the secret that most people overlook when they talk about transformation. They think motivation is what changes lives, but motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes like the weather. Some days you feel it, some days you don't. Discipline, on the other hand, is steady, consistent, and unstoppable. It's not about feeling like doing something. It's about doing it anyway because you've committed to a higher standard for yourself. The fastest way to become unrecognizable is to master your discipline. 1 week of relentless, focused effort done with precision and consistency can create more momentum than months of half-hearted attempts. Discipline is what bridges the gap between who you are and who you are meant to become. It turns intention into action and action into results. When you commit to discipline, you begin to control your day rather than letting your day control you. You wake up when you said you would. You move when it's uncomfortable, and you keep going when most people quit. You don't wait for the right time, the perfect moment, or the ideal circumstances. You act now because discipline doesn't negotiate with excuses. It ignores them. Discipline is also about prioritizing what matters most over what feels good in the moment. It's about saying no to distractions, no to procrastination, no to anything that pulls you away from your vision. Every small choice you make compounds. One disciplined decision leads to another, and soon your actions begin to redefine who you are. The person who was once lazy, inconsistent, or distracted begins to disappear, replaced by someone focused, relentless, and unstoppable. The beauty of discipline is that it creates freedom. It may feel restrictive at first, but that restriction is temporary. It is the doorway to a life where you no longer chase after results desperately, because your results begin to chase you. Your mind sharpens, your confidence grows, and your energy aligns with your purpose. That is how 1 week of unyielding discipline can make you unrecognizable to yourself and everyone around you. Remember, discipline is not punishment. It is the training ground for greatness. Every uncomfortable step, every early morning, every decision to act when you don't feel like it is a brick building the new version of you. If you follow this path, by the end of this week, you will not just be changed, you will be transformed. You will look in the mirror and see someone who refuses to settle, someone who moves with purpose, someone who has taken control of their life and will never let go. If you want to become unrecognizable in just 1 week, you have to understand this. Your environment will either lift you up or hold you back. You cannot rise above the people, places, and influences that surround you if they are still anchored in mediocrity. Transformation is not just about what you do in private. It's about what you allow into your life. Every person you spend time with, every space you occupy, every message you consume has a subtle power over you, whether you realize it or not. Guarding your environment ruthlessly means being intentional about what you let in. It means stepping away from relationships that drain your energy, from conversations that diminish your confidence, and from routines that keep you stuck. It's not about cutting people off out of cruelty. It's about protecting your vision. You are creating a new version of yourself, and nothing from the old world of limitations can occupy that space. Your surroundings shape your habits, and your habits shape your identity. If you are serious about becoming unrecognizable, you must immerse yourself in an environment that inspires growth, challenges your limits, and pushes you beyond what you thought was possible. Seek out those who believe in progress, those who expect more of themselves, those whose energy forces you to elevate. Let their focus and determination become contagious, because your mind will adapt to the world you live in. Guarding your environment is also about controlling what you feed your mind. The books you read, the videos you watch, the conversations you participate in, they all influence the person you are becoming. Starve negativity, distraction, and doubt. Feed inspiration, strategy, and vision. Protect your time as if it were gold, because it is. Every moment you spend absorbing the wrong energy is a moment wasted, a brick in the wall between you and the person you're meant to be. This is not a small adjustment. It is a decisive action that signals your commitment to change. When you ruthlessly guard your environment, you begin to align everything in your life with the person you are becoming. The old version of you cannot survive in this new space. By the end of the week, your habits, your mindset, and your energy will reflect a level of focus and power that is unrecognizable even to yourself. If you want to become unrecognizable in 1 week, you have to start feeding your mind more than your mouth. Too many people fill their days with chatter, gossip, complaints, and distractions, and then wonder why their lives don't change. Your words are powerful. But what you feed your mind determines the quality of those words, the quality of your actions, and ultimately the trajectory of your life. You cannot outspeak, outact, or outperform the ideas you allow to dominate your thinking. Feed your mind with knowledge, with truth, with inspiration, and with strategies that elevate you. Read books that challenge your thinking. Listen to voices that stretch your perspective. Reflect on ideas that demand action. Starve your mind of negativity, fear, and excuses. The words you consume internally will become the words you speak externally, and they will shape the results you produce. This principle is simple, but often ignored. The mind grows by what you feed it, just like the body grows by what you eat. If you constantly feed your mind garbage, drama, distractions, idle complaints, your life will reflect that. But if you feed it vision, focus, and purpose, your life begins to expand at a rate you never thought possible. The person who stumbles through life distracted and uninspired cannot transform in a week, but the one who consumes wisdom, embraces learning, and actively rewires their thinking can become unrecognizable almost overnight. Feeding your mind more than your mouth also requires discipline and listening. Stop talking so much about your problems, your past, or your limitations. Instead, listen to ideas, observe excellence, and internalize principles that build greatness. The quieter you become with your mouth, the louder your mind grows with knowledge and understanding. Knowledge turns into insight. Insight turns into action, and action turns into transformation. If you want to see rapid, undeniable change, this is non-negotiable. 1 week of intentional mental feeding can outpace a lifetime of careless consumption. By the end of the week, your thoughts, your words, and your decisions will reflect a new standard. People will notice the change in your energy, your confidence, and your focus. You won't just be doing things differently, you will be thinking differently. And once your mind has transformed, the person you present to the world will be unrecognizable. If you want to become unrecognizable in 1 week, you have to learn to move with intention, not emotion. Too many people allow their feelings to dictate their actions. They wait until they feel motivated, until they feel inspired, until they feel ready to act. But motivation is unreliable. Emotions are unpredictable. If you rely on them, your transformation will never happen. True change comes from deliberate, purposeful action. Moving with intention means deciding ahead of time what you will do and then doing it regardless of how you feel. It means setting a standard for yourself and holding yourself accountable to it, even when the comfort of your old habits calls to you. Every step you take, every decision you make must have a purpose. You are not acting randomly. You are sculpting a new life brick by brick, moment by moment. Intentional movement separates ordinary people from extraordinary ones. Most people wait for life to hand them the right moment, the right opportunity, the right circumstances. But the person who moves with intention creates those moments. They take control of their day, their energy, and their future. They act not when it's convenient, but when it's necessary. Action guided by intention has power behind it, and that power accelerates transformation faster than anything else. Emotions will always try to sabotage you. Fear, doubt, procrastination. They whisper that you should wait, that you should stop, that you are not ready. But when you move with intention, you rise above those whispers. You act as if the result is inevitable because you understand that consistent, purposeful effort compounds into extraordinary change. You act like the person you are becoming, and in doing so, you become them. This week, every action must serve the vision of the new you. Speak less from impulse, act more from clarity. Don't wait to feel ready. Create readiness through deliberate, persistent effort. By the end of the week, the difference will be undeniable. Your energy, your focus, your results will reflect a level of intentionality that others will notice immediately. The old you, the one driven by uncertainty and wavering emotions, will be gone. The new you, deliberate, unstoppable, and unrecognizable, will have taken its place. The most powerful step in becoming unrecognizable is learning to see yourself as the person you're becoming. Too many people define themselves by their past, by the mistakes they've made, by the limits they've believed. They look in the mirror and see yesterday staring back at them. But transformation begins the moment you stop identifying with who you were and start identifying with who you are meant to be. You must see it, believe it, and carry it in your mind before the world ever recognizes it. Your mind is the blueprint for your life. If you see yourself as small, uncertain, or limited, your actions will reflect that vision. But when you see yourself as capable, powerful, and unstoppable, your actions begin to align with that identity. You begin to move, speak, and think like the person you're becoming. This mental shift is what creates rapid transformation. The change is not just external, it is internal first, and then it manifests outwardly in your energy, your confidence, and your results. Visualize the version of yourself that you desire. Picture their habits, their focus, their energy, and their discipline. Imagine how they handle challenges, how they think under pressure, how they carry themselves with certainty. Hold that image in your mind constantly and act as though that person already exists. When your actions match that vision, reality begins to bend toward it. The mirror begins to reflect the new you before a single circumstance changes. Seeing yourself as the person you're becoming also builds resilience. The obstacles, setbacks, and doubts that once held you back become irrelevant because you are operating from a higher standard. You know who you are becoming, and nothing can shake that vision. The week may be short, but the intensity of belief you bring to it will create results that feel impossible to those still living in the old version of themselves. This is why rapid transformation is possible. When you carry the vision of your future self in your mind, everything you do becomes a step toward that reality. Your words, your actions, your energy, they all shift to match this higher version. By the end of this week, the person who walks, talks, and thinks like your future self will have replaced the old you. You will look in the mirror and see someone unrecognizable, not because you wished for it, but because you saw it, believed it, and acted on it with unwavering commitment. Now's the time to put it all together. Decide to break the old identity, step away from who you've been, and step fully into who you are becoming. Let discipline guide your actions and make every moment count. Guard your environment so that only energy, people, and influences that lift you higher are allowed in. Feed your mind relentlessly with knowledge, inspiration, and vision, because the quality of your thoughts will determine the quality of your life. Move with intention in every action, refusing to let emotion dictate your results, and see yourself as the person you are becoming, holding that image so clearly in your mind that it begins to shape your reality. 1 week, 7 days, that is all it takes to become unrecognizable, but it requires everything you have. It will demand focus, it will demand sacrifice, and it will demand courage. The old version of you will resist, fear will whisper, doubt will try to slow you down. But when you commit fully, when you act intentionally, and when you carry the vision of your new self with unwavering belief, nothing can stop you by the end of this week. You will not just feel different, you will look different, act different, think different. The world will notice it, but more importantly, you will notice it. You will see yourself as someone who refuses to settle, someone who refuses to be ordinary, someone who has taken control of their life and their destiny. Transformation is not a distant dream. It is available here, it is available now, and it is available to you. 1 week of total focus, unwavering discipline, intentional action, and belief in yourself will create a version of you that is completely unrecognizable. So make the decision, commit to the process, step into the new you, become unrecognizable, become unstoppable, become the person you were always meant to be.